Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Paula, my channel is PJ Danita Trends, and today we are going to be going through the Low Income Savings Challenge book, and we are going to be coloring our way to $5,000. So if you're new here, I saved $5,000 and I completed that at the end of last year. That was prior to me getting this book. So I'm coloring my way to $5,000. I'm playing catch up. So in our last video, So in the last video, let me get organized here. Catch y'all up in case you missed the last video. In the last video, we made it to $4,225. And this was a $300 savings challenge. So as we flip the page for today, we are now in the 400 savings challenge range. So I need to turn on my calculator here. And let's clear this out. So again, yesterday's total was $4,225 plus 400. So today, when we finish, you see that? When we finish in this little note section here at the bottom, we will have $4,625 worth of coloring complete. This book I got from Amazon. I will leave the link in the description box below, and I will also try to remember to pop in the QR code, and hopefully you can color along with me. So let's get started. We of course have our topic for today. Let me grab my chair here and sit down. So the topic for today is, I don't know, I guess it's an unpopular opinion. We're gonna be colorful today. I had a nice, wonderful day, so I'm feeling bright and cheery today. So I'm going to do all the colors of the rainbow. There we go. So the topic for today, like I was saying, is going to be an unpopular opinion. One of the things that kept coming up were vacations. I'm going to start with red, and I have my twistable markers, or twistable crayons here. Vacations. My family has recently started doing vacations, and they've been doing vacations. I think they've made it up to about 2 vacations a year. Well, you know me, I'm the saver, so I have managed to wiggle my way out of going on the vacations. I've honestly just flat out said, I'll stay back, and I've become the keeper of the dog. So my daughter has a dog, and it works out perfectly because she doesn't have to board her dog. That worked out perfectly for a little while, but now my family's starting to put a little more pressure on me, and they're saying, why don't you want to go on our vacation? So they've been to Miami, they went to New York, they went to Chicago, and they went to Vegas. Oh, and the Bahamas. And my mother, who is now 75, I guess I should back up a little bit. My mom didn't really start traveling until she was 73. So a lot of these vacations have been to take her everywhere, just to, travel everywhere with her that she wants to go. And I wish I had a picture. My mom at 73 went parasailing in Miami. So she has just been living her absolute best life. But I have realized that amongst all of my goals, I have no problem reaching any life goals. But I think one thing holds true for a lot of people. I think what we want to do, we do, and what we don't want to do, we don't necessarily want to do. So for example, I know for me, when I was in my 20s, one of my goals was to graduate from college. So I had the same regular goals that most people have. I'm going to switch colors here and go to orange. So I think it's traditional for a lot of people to want to, or it used to be back in my day. Let me back up, because I'm in that Gen X generation. So going to college used to be the norm. Getting married used to be the norm. Having kids used to be the norm. Being a homeowner used to be the norm. You know, all those things back in my earlier years. Now I think our society is a little more versatile. I think people do different things depending on what's going on economically, social, politically. People take stances for different reasons. But anyway, I said all that to say that no matter what generation you're in, whatever you want to do, whatever is important, you prioritize. And whatever you don't necessarily want to do, or maybe you're okay if you do it, but it doesn't necessarily have to get done right now, it falls by the wayside. It keeps going to the end of your to-do list. I know a lot of people now, for example, have decided that they're not going to college due to the cost. People have decided that they're not getting married. People have decided that they're not having children. And so, or maybe they're going to delay those things. I think with the millennials, we started to see a lot of delaying with having children. And now we've got a lot of people that have just decided that they're going to be child free. And they have just decided not to have children. They want to have experiences. They want to travel the world. Or they may decide to do it later on in life. I'm switching to yellow now. So for me, that thing that kept falling to the back of the list of things to do was travel. I can look at people's pictures, I watch countless vlogs, and I absolutely enjoy it. I enjoy seeing people be happy. I don't care what it is. Whatever makes you happy, it makes me happy. I don't necessarily have to experience it though firsthand. And so travel was one of those things that just kept falling. I was like, yeah, it would be nice. But what I'm starting to realize is that I'm not a big, huge fan of the logistics of travel. I'm not a huge fan of being closed in on an airplane with a bunch of people. I'm not a huge fan of being in an airport and dealing with travel delays and cancellations. I'm not a big fan of spending large sums of money. I know there's no surprise there. So there's not a whole lot that I like about the logistics of travel. I absolutely love spending time with my family. I love being on vacation. I love taking a break from the hustle and the grind of our daily lives. So I enjoy all of those things, but I don't necessarily enjoy the logistics of travel, and I don't necessarily enjoy the cost associated with travel. Because anytime we start planning, because I'm always a part of the planning with my family when they do the Bahamas and Miami and the New York and all that. When they're doing all of those trips and they're doing the planning, I'm a big part of that. I mean, I'm a planner for sure. I'm a budgeter. I'm a person who loves to read reviews. So whenever they're saying, oh, let's go here, and they're planning their itinerary, I'm helping them have the most successful trip that they can. So I'm also a part of that planning process, but I'm just not participating. But the more I've started to look at airfare and meltdowns on the airplane, and you know, our society, I'm switching to green here, has come a little unhinged here lately, especially since 2020. It's just not something that I want to do with my time. I love day trips. I love if we can get in a car and go somewhere. I think that's the other thing, the control piece. If I can get in my car and drive, or one of my family members, you know, we're riding together and we're traveling, that's all fine, well and good. And, you know, we are not closed in with a bunch of other people. We're not sitting through a lot of delays. We don't have the risk of cancellation. You may have to deal with some traffic, but that's it. I enjoy that level of vacation, but once it starts getting a little more complicated than that, it takes the joy and the fun out of it for me. So I said all of that to say, when I was saving this $5,000, that's one huge tip that I will give. If you can forego some trips, because I was paying attention to, like I said, the airfare. They would send me we got this while we were sitting in the airport, because if your flight gets delayed, then to kill time, you start walking around the airport. So they would send me either text message and say, hey, we got here and now they pushed the flight back, and we are buying this thing. We're eating at Chick-fil-A. We got this. There's a McDonald's at the airport. And guess how much this is at the McDonald's airport? Or all of those different things. So immediately when you start traveling, not only are there the planned expenses, but there are the unexpected expenses. So the delays in the airport food, entertaining yourself. You know, if you've got, I'm switch to a blue. If you've got to entertain yourself and you want to download something, you may pay for, you know, some form of entertainment that you wouldn't normally pay for. So that's one thing. And then of course there are the accommodations when you get there. There are the Uber rides. Oh my goodness. My family's, I think their Miami and their New York trips so far, well, Chicago too, were insane. I gave them, because the Miami was so bad with the Uber prices, I gave them an Uber gift card for their New York, and I might have given them one for the Chicago trip as well. But the Uber prices are insane because, of course, once you land, then you've got to get to your hotel. And if you don't have a hotel that has shuttle service, then that's going to be a whole Uber ride. And then because they travel as a group, they've started getting the Uber Excel, and you know, it's more people, so that's going to be more money. When they went to Miami, they ended up renting a car at the airport when they got to Miami. But what they weren't aware of when they went to Florida was how many toll roads there were. So they ended up having quite a few toll fees, and there were a lot of parking fees. So if you travel to major cities, then you've got to factor all those costs in too. So they had the car rental fee in Miami, they had the parking fee in Miami, they had the toll roads while they were in Florida. Okay, I'm on my last color here. So that all added up. When they were in New York, they had the Uber ride. Again, that was very expensive. And then they had the Uber ride, and that was very expensive. So, okay, you fly in, you've already eaten in the airport to fill your time because your flight got delayed, and then you get to the hotel. So out of all of their trips, they had a pleasant hotel experience, except for New York last summer. The hotel that they stayed in, the air was not working, the AC was not working, and so they had a bunch of fans everywhere. So they were unhappy with the hotel, and they ended up, I think halfway through the trip, they ended up switching to another hotel in New Jersey. But anyway, they haven't had many extra hotel fees associated with their travel, except when they went to Vegas. When they went to Vegas, my family stayed in a hotel that had a lot of entertainment. So it had the restaurants in the hotel, it had a movie theater in the hotel. So they ended up doing a lot of extracurricular activities that they did not plan to do. And of course, they had a ball doing it. And then I'm trying to think anything else. Other than that, I think for the most part, the planned activities were fine. The one other, I would say, loss of income that they had was when they planned their trip to Chicago. They were supposed to go on a dinner cruise their first day there. It was non-refundable, and their flight ended up getting delayed. They did not arrive in Chicago until midnight. I think they ended up getting there at about 12:15. And the dinner cruise set sail around, I want to say 7 or 8 o'clock. And it was one of those, there was no refund. They went for a 4th of July. It was going to be a fireworks show and a dinner cruise. And it was this buffet. It was wonderful. It had all these wonderful reviews. So that was money lost because that was 4 of them. They paid for this experience and they were not able to have it. So again, all of that was out of their control. The airline did give them some vouchers and I think some snacks that they could get, but with the vouchers, they still have not used them. I mean, they would have had to book another flight within a certain window of time. So you basically would have to plan another trip in order for that to really pay off for you. But that's it. Look at how fast we completed our coloring. So we are at 46:25. We're making good progress here. So let me know in the comments below, are you a person who loves to travel, Have you delayed travel in order to save more money? Because that's what I have loved to do. Or what's the thing that you keep delaying or pushing off so that you can save money instead? Is it going to school? Is it getting married? Is it having children? Is it buying a house, buying a car? What are you pushing off to continue to save? So thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. Bye for now, everyone.